Joining us now to talk about this myth and the right way to work out with children is our fitness expert and trainer, Dex Henderson.
How's it going?
Good, Dex, good. So, you know, I know for a fact you train a lot of kids.
A ton,
you train a lot of kids in addition to doing the stuff with the grown-ups. What is too young to start an exercise regimen for our kids?
So I probably have about 70 kids that I train.
Really? That much?
Okay.
Yeah, I do a lot of sports performance groups, a lot of team-specific groups, you name it, even kids that are looking to lose weight or just to get in better shape. Prior to being at Sports and Wellness, I actually worked at Michael Johnson Performance Institute.
No kidding.
Okay.
And that was specifically designed to work with elite athletes and also kids. You can start kids off as young as 5 years old.
Okay.
And the
5 years
reason being is because you want to develop great habits with kids and make sure that they're learning the proper technique and form for all exercises at a young age so that it continues throughout their adolescence and into adulthood. The biggest thing that I work with most of these kids are speed and agility.
Okay.
Sports performance is a huge deal in the U.S. Unfortunately, in New Mexico, we're so behind the curve with this that you start to see that a lot of kids who are 13, 14, 15 have been learning the improper form and technique their entire life. Not only that, but I'm having to break bad habits that have been developed throughout the years and also things that have been taught improperly. So my biggest thing is to work with these kids on running technique and form, posture, their gait as far as their stride frequency, explosiveness, and ideally kids under 12, you don't want to touch weights with them. You want to mostly work with body weight exercises and just getting their footwork better and allowing them to be able to develop the speed.
Okay.
Whenever you get to 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, those are the years that you can actually start lifting weights. But again, you don't want to stunt their growth. So you want to work with them with lightweight and just work on the technique and the form and the posture and how to correctly form exercises as far as sitting into your hips, being able to keep your knees behind your toes so that you don't hurt yourself. As they start aging and they hit that first growth spurt, then you can start adding a little bit more weight. So it's just kind of like a gradual increase.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I mean, I started playing soccer when I was 4, but I kind of wish that I would have started doing, agility exercises at a younger age. Now, some of the benefits you said include, their posture and making sure they're doing things right, because you can get seriously injured if you're lifting weights the wrong way, right?
Definitely.
Okay.
Now, we talk a lot about, it's sort of a national discussion about sports injuries with kids. Dex, in your opinion, because I mean you've been on the athlete side, you've been on the field doing it, you're training. Is it improper training? Does that exacerbate the problem of sports injuries with kids? So if they're learning improper ways to do it, it's going to translate onto the soccer field, on the football field. Is that a correct statement?
Yeah, most definitely. And I hate to say it, but especially here, we don't have the off-season programs like I had in high school. I came from Texas, huge football state, huge sports, in general. So I had the ideal coaches, the coaches who were teaching me the proper form. I had a brother-in-law who played in the NFL, so from age 5 on, he trained me. So I was able to have that heads up on being able to do things properly. And it's a big deal here where a lot of kids don't train.
They don't have
and the parents aren't quite there where they understand the importance of sports performance, so therefore they don't think that it's okay to invest in their kids and do these things.
Right.
They're more focused on other things such as the education, which I'm perfectly fine with, and I think that's a great idea. But if your kids are going to play sports, they need to be coached by someone who knows what they're doing.
Right.
And so now parents are starting to understand what I've done with these kids, and they've seen 2 or 3 years of work with me where I've started these kids off at 5 or 6, and now these 8 and 9-year-olds are playing 3 levels up in sports because no one can really keep up with them. And so now they're, oh my gosh, this is what he's done with these kids. Now I see why he's doing this. And so it's starting to come around now, and my groups are getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
That's great. Now, we can't have you on and talk about anything without mentioning nutrition.
Right.
So what's the role that nutrition plays with, exercising with children?
So especially with kids, I mean, let's face it, kids like junk food. Kids like to
junk food.
eat pretty much anything they can get their hands on.
Yeah.
So what I try to do is I coach them with the nutrition from an aspect that, hey, it's okay to have the things that you like doing, but just make sure that you eat from your primary food groups. Make sure that you guys are eating throughout the day, and also make sure that when you come to work out with me, you actually have a meal an hour to 45 minutes before, a source of protein, a source of carbs, especially carbs because of the energy. And if you just teach those guys the fundamentals and the basis of the nutrition, as they get older, they'll start understanding the macronutrients and why we put certain things in certain meals. But for kids, just keep it a broad overview just to give them an idea as to what they need to look forward to.
Okay. So obviously the big question we're talking about this, Dex, I know, like I said, you're nearly 70 kids. A lot of that comes from the schools. The coaches are contacting you. But if parents at home, they want to get their kids involved in an exercise regimen with you, how do they do it? Should they go through their school? Should they contact Sports and Wellness directly, say, I want to get this kid involved? What's the best way to get that going?
The best way to get a hold of me would definitely be to contact Sports and Wellness. Let them know that you're interested in getting a team or a kid in there in order to work with me. Make sure you mention my name. They do very well at sending me the info. You can also contact me on my email. I'll answer that the same day, dhenderson@wellbridge.com.
Okay.
And any way you contact me, I'll make sure I get back to you as soon as possible.
Okay, well, we've definitely seen the results a few weeks back. We actually were talking to one of your students. They got a full scholarship, a full athletic scholarship.
Yes.
And probably not in small part due to your training and the work that you did. So for more information, guys, on how to get your kids ready to play, head over to CASA.com. We'll have links to Dex there.